Good day, folks. This is Greg Judy at Green Pastures Farm. Today, my guest is Amber Morris. And Amber, you want to tell us a little bit about where you're from and what your story is?
I'm from Hodgenville, Kentucky. It's like right in the middle. And we just got into South Pole cows about a year and a half ago now. And we've got about 34. Really like, they're very calm, quiet. They don't pug up the ground as much during the winter. And we're thinking about doing some sheep probably in the next couple of years once we get everything going and the fence is built.
What got you interested in this? I mean, as far as getting back on the land and animals, were you raised on a farm, Amber, your whole life?
Yeah, we moved to a farm in Alaska when I was 6 years old.
Alaska?
Yeah.
What were you doing up in there?
My dad was up there for the military.
Okay.
And then he met my mom up there, and we stayed up there till I was 12, and then he got a transfer from his job from Anchorage to Louisville. So that's kind of how we ended up in Kentucky.
Okay.
But we had a dairy for a while, and we did rotational grazing with that. And it worked out pretty well. I mean, the rotational aspect of it did very well. We did learn a lot from it. And then we sold the dairy because it was just too much work for the family.
Yep.
Not very profitable. And we made the mistake of leasing our ground out afterwards to a grain farmer for a couple of years. So now we have some healing to do with that.
I'd say, how'd that turn out?
Not very good. It went from a really good grass pasture to now it's all weeds.
Okay.
Hardly any grass grows in it, so we're slowly working on
getting it back.
Yeah. But
it's a process. It takes time.
Oh yeah.
But you also, I mean, you're into several different things. Weren't you into horses too?
Yeah, I do. We have 7 horses. I do barrels and pulls. I do performance horses.
Okay, so you're racing under a timed event.
Yeah.
That's kind of dangerous, isn't it?
It's fun.
It's fun?
It can be dangerous. If you're training, if you have a lot of holes in your training, it can be dangerous.
So you have a favorite horse that it's a timed event. You're racing against other girls on a horse too.
Yeah, we're all friends though. We cheer each other on, and it's like, please don't run faster than me, but do well. But I love it. I've done it since since we moved here when I was 13. But I was practicing up in Alaska when there were no shows out there.
You just like doing it. Yeah. Well, I remember. See, I was in horsemanship in 4-H, and I never was very good at it. It was kind of fun though. Yeah. But I always knocked the barrel over. You get penalized, don't you?
Yeah. It depends on the association. Like AQHA, it's a 5-second penalty, but you still qualify. NBHA, it's a no time. And then if you lose your hat with NBHA, it's a $10 fine. Yeah.
If you lose your hat?
Oh, with AQHA, if you lose your hat, it's a no time.
So the horse is running around the barrels, and if your hat comes off your head, that's a no time?
That's why you need a stampede string. Or a hat that fits.
So if the hat comes flying off your head, but you've got a string under your chin, you haven't lost the hat?
No.
And so you get
Yeah, you get your time.
I'll be
You get a qualified ride, yeah.
I think I'd use a string underneath my
Yeah,
feet.
I do too. It's like, I don't trust a hat that fits well, because if that wind gets under there just right, it's going to pop off. If your hair's too smooth, it'll pop right off.
Yeah. Well, back to your livestock. So you're going with South Pole. You're in middle of Kentucky, so you get heat. You get some heat and some humidity. And you're running on right now. You're telling me about the land that you have, but you've got some more land that you're going to be possibly coming into your rotation later, do you think?
Yeah, we're replanting it this fall. Our drill took forever to get here. It was stuck on a ship out on the coast of California. But by next fall, we should have another 100 or so acres that we can move into the rotation. Because right now we have more ground than we have animals.
Yeah, well, that's not a bad...
It's not a bad problem, especially when you come to the hotter months. You always have something for them to eat.
Some forage.
Yeah.
That's right.
And they don't need to have a whole lot of hay during the winter because we have a lot of hay or grass stockpiled. So we do feed them a little bit of hay when we get ice storms or snow. We had to do that last year. But
call that insurance policy. Yeah. Well, I remember when I first met you, it was a year ago in the summer you came up and got some heifers, and I'll never forget. I think somebody asked, well, "That's a girl driving that truck. You think she can back it up?" I mean, nobody even had a chance to go up and talk to you. I mean, you brought that thing back to that chute in a heartbeat. I'm like, yeah, she's back
First
to
try.
yeah, she's back to trailer before.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the smallest trailer we have. So
You know, you put it right in there and didn't go back and forth. Well, you didn't go back and forth at all. You just put it right where you needed it.
yeah.
So anytime somebody can back up a trailer like that, it kind of impressed me for sure. But you're
It's a necessary skill on a farm.
well, yeah, exactly, exactly. Well, you've got your whole life ahead of you. What is your goals? I mean, going forward, what are you looking at? What turns you on?
To be
Turns
able
you
to
on?
quit my off-farm job, I don't like it.
Okay.
I'd like to be able to, have the farm sustain itself and to support a living, a decent living.
Yeah.
And
Not be a pauper.
yeah.
Yeah.
And be able to continue with the horses and not have to, work, because horses can be expensive.
Yes. Yes, they are.
So, yeah. So I'd like to be able to, support my hobbies and, just a good living.
Yeah.
Being able to run cows and sheep and
Enjoy what you do every day.
yeah, I think we even talked about chickens, but
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of chickens.
Yeah.
So
Well.
that might be someone else's chore.
Yeah.
I don't mind the cows.
You're not alone on that one.
No.
I'm not a big poultry person either. And, there are people that love chickens, and I say go for it. I like eating chicken.
Yeah.
But I'm not real crazy about trying to raise them. I know we've had them on our farms. We had people that ran them on the farm. There's a lot of work. It's a lot of work in chickens, and they were doing layers, and there wasn't a lot of money in it.
No, like I have a client because I'm also a farrier.
You shoe horses?
I don't shoe. I just do the barefoot.
Oh,
I
okay.
do barefoot trim.
Gotcha.
But he runs chicken houses, and he's got like 100,000 or so layer hens in these houses, and he's like, there's no money in it.
Yeah.
But he doesn't pasture them. They're just strictly
In a
indoor all
house.
the time.
Yeah. So these big companies, well, we don't need to name the names, but we all know who they are.
Yeah.
They, you got to build that barn to their specifications.
Yeah, you farm based on what they want you to farm.
Yes.
And there's no freedom. You have no control in it. I don't like that.
Yeah. And have you been inside one of those houses?
No, because you're not allowed.
Right.
Only the farmer's allowed. Yeah.
Right. You got to have a sterile suit on and all that. But growing up, I worked for a large poultry that they had ducks in a huge house like that. And I'm going to tell you what, that is the ammonia. You can't hardly breathe. And every time I worked in them, I always got sick.
Yeah.
Breathing that dust. And so it's not, I think you would agree with me, animals don't belong in a house.
No. No.
Well, that's awesome. Just curious, what is your off-farm job?
I work at Amazon.
You work at Amazon?
Yeah, I work at Amazon and then my farrier work, which I don't mind. I like the farrier work because I like working with animals.
Yep.
And, I don't, some of the people, it's like, I don't really want to ask or answer your questions, but I'll answer them. But, I prefer working with just the animal.
Yeah.
People they're too high maintenance.
Well, work with animals, you can be out having a really bad day and walk into your animals, and all of a sudden you have a good day.
Yeah.
They don't talk back to you.
No.
So,
No.
well, it's awesome. We're actually at. You want to tell them where we're at, where I met, what we're doing here?
We are at the Regenerative Ag Conference. Is that what it is? Or seminar?
It is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
In Greenville, Tennessee. It's been very fun.
Yeah,
I've enjoyed it. Yeah.
It's been awesome, hasn't it?
Picked up quite a few tidbits, especially on like the weight of the calves and what you don't want to keep as breeding stock, and that made a lot of sense to me.
Yep. And just lots of little grazing tips from the speakers, and just a whole host of different topics. So it's been good.
And then what to plant as like a cover crop, and
Yep.
and annuals too. That's a big one for us.
Well, you're converting a cropland back to grass. That's a tough deal.
Yeah.
Because you've got that herbicide residual on there and all the other stuff.
Yeah.
So.
Johnson grass and crabgrass is growing real well in the far back of the property, but the front 30 acres still is just nothing but burrs. Burrs, and then the clover came up again. Of course, clover, you can't kill clover.
Yeah. It's pretty persistent, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for your interview. And do you have a website or anything?
Don't have a website yet. The farm, we're going to call it Lazy Fox Ranch. We're just now starting to kind of build on it. I did set up an email.
You did? Okay.
That's the first step that I took, is setting up.
Well, it's a start.
Yeah, that's a start.
It's a start.
Yeah, once I get more time, I'll probably this winter I'll go ahead and put a
Well,
website together.
I'll give you a few tips as you move forward. You've got to let people know what you're doing, and you got to have some place for people to go to find out about what you're doing. So website's a good first step. And also, as you move forward, produce a product that nobody else around you is doing. You got to have your own story, and people buy from you the story that you give them from your heart. And if you produce a good product, there's going to be people there to buy it.
Oh yeah.
So my adage is, it doesn't cost any more to raise a good animal that eats grass than a bad one. So get good ones, you know. And you need to be the predator in your herd. The ones that don't work, you know what to do with.
Oh yeah, we did that with the dairy too. Like if they kick, bye.
Yep, there you go. There you
I
go.
didn't like those, no.
And there's an old saying from an old friend of mine. He said, "You'll never have a herd any better than what you call for." So if you set your bar real low, and she'll be all right next year. No,
it's like someone in there. So I don't remember who it was, but it's like a good animal is going to produce what she is.
Yeah.
And it's like that's the animal I want.
Yes.
It's the good ones. I mean, even the bad ones are going to produce what they are, but it's like that's where your management comes in.
Yes.
So.
Well, I think I've met your dad, and he's really, man, he's 100% behind you. He's really supportive. I think that's important, don't you?
Yeah.
To have the whole family involved in it, and he seems to me about as passionate as you are. So. That's awesome. And give me your name and where you're from again.
Amber Morris. I'm from Hodgenville, Kentucky.
All right. Well, Amber, thank you for this interview. I really appreciate it. It was an honor, and look forward down the road to meeting you again. And folks, we're going to wrap this up. We'll see you next time down the road. And if you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. We'll see you next time.